in which I'll give you activities and a lot of other fun things to do. So this will be the next 1 month or 2 months will be full of these kind of activities. So enjoy. So I'll start with the session. Can you all see the screen on? Can you all see the screen? Please give me a hands up. Give me a hands. Can you raise your hands if you can see the screen? Okay, fine. Okay, sure. I'll start. So this is speaking, debate, and MUN. Before any one of you here goes up and says, "No, I don't want to speak," please listen to me for the next 5 minutes, and I will make sure I convince you that speaking is a skill that's necessary for each and every human being on this planet. So, who needs speaking, right? Before I answer that question, tell me how many of you here don't speak at all? If you have a mouth and if you know language, then each and every one of you here speaks at home with friends, at school with teachers and other assistants, to the shopkeeper, the security guard, each and every place, each and everywhere you go, you speak. And it's not just today, tomorrow, when you enter into college, you will speak with your roommates, your professors, your friends also, DAs, and that's an essential part of college as well. Don't stop at college. Work. Speaking and communication is the major thing that gives you your job. In an interview, imagine messing up your interview and because you didn't say something that you were supposed to say. I mean, that's what speaking is all about, right? Speaking efficiently with proper language, with efficiency, with higher efficiency is what makes a good speech. But I'm not talking about speeches in general. The speaking, the art of communicating something to someone else is very important. And it doesn't stop with jobs. And jobs, if you're an engineer, you need to talk with your team. You need to communicate something with your team before you go to your boss. And even if you're a businessman, you need to make sure you talk well with your employees and make sure your job is running smoothly. It doesn't stop with one job. Every other profession, any place, any position you want to be, speaking is highly necessary. Very necessary. I think I've established well enough why you actually require speaking. Speaking is something, it's an art. It's more than a necessity. Speaking is also an art. You would have seen some of your friends who, when they come into the room, and you know that they will lighten up the room just by their few words. Speaking is something which cannot be done all of a sudden, right? You need to build that skill. It's a step-by-step process. So I have structured my entire curriculum here. No, it's not exactly a curriculum. I made a schedule of all the events I've planned until now. So this spans to about 2 months if it's one session per week. So today's session is the first one, which is I've given you an introduction, and I'll give you a small activity called simple object descriptions, which is very interesting. In the next week, I'll focus on analyzing motions. Emotion is your topic or subject of discussion. That's the thing you're supposed to speak about. So next week, I'll be talking about how you analyze that motion and how you understand it, so that you can frame your arguments later on. Collecting information, and then there's the most important part, the most interesting part of this entire track is the panel discussion. During the panel discussion, I will be inviting few of my friends who have done international and national level debate and even writing and won awards on an international level. I have a few of my friends who do that. So I've invited them to join us in a panel discussion. And this panel discussion is not just for this debate and speaking skill. You'll also understand how a panel discussion works. It'll be really helpful for you in the future. And then speaking techniques, which is how you allot your time, how you express yourself in front of everybody else. Defense, right? Debate is all about, debate is both about your side and the other side. So that one session will be about how you analyze the opponent's arguments or your opposing arguments, and how you frame that into something which will be beneficial for you. So the last two sessions will be a debate, so two debates. The second last session is a sample debate, in which I will intervene and let you know how this entire process will go. I will correct you if you make any mistake in between and all that. And in the end, the final debate will be professional. I will include a few of my friends from the panel discussion to be judges, and it will be a proper debate. So one thing to note here, I just want to put something in front of everything, is that this series of sessions doesn't guarantee that you'll become a proper debater, doesn't guarantee that you'll be the best debater all of a sudden just by these weekly sessions. But these sessions will give you that one boost into getting into your school's debate team, into your school speaking team. It could boost not just your school's repute, but even yours. Think about it. Even if you think that you don't like this first session, I would suggest you to attend the following sessions, because the first session is just a very basic introduction to how you speak in general, and these simple object descriptions would have been something you would have already done in your English class. Last year, I think we had English activities where we'll be given an object on the spot, and then they'll tell us to prepare for 1 minute. And 1 minute later, the teacher calls us to the in front of the class, and she'll tell us to give a speech on that object. So that's something that's almost similar to what I'll be doing here, but um, I'll be guiding you through the process. I'll be helping you out, and let's start. So I'm pretty sure if you have crossed 10th grade, or even sometimes I think I did in ninth grade as well. So you would have done this activity in class with the one which I explained it to you right now. So I'll tell you what you need. You need an object to speak about first. So I request all of you who are attending this session to pick up anything around you. Pick up any object that you want to speak about. It can be a pen, it can be a water bottle, it can be anything. It can even be something that it can be something that you can't pick up. Let's say a table behind you, or some big object that you can't show it in front of camera. But make sure you just have something to talk about. I'll give you 2 minutes time. You can move around, you can go around your house, just pick up something that will be of interest for you. And I also have a notebook or a paper to write on, and a pencil or a pen. So I'll give you 2 minutes. You can go ahead and pick up something right now. Anything. It can be anything on your table. It can even be the phone you're using. So anything. I'm not giving you any restraints on what you should have. Just pick up anything you want to. Okay, I think you would have picked something up already. Okay, if you're done, just show your object on the camera, so that I can see what you have. Just show it to everyone. It's fine. It's not a problem. Unless you have your phone as your object, it's fine. But anything else you have? Okay, I see a few objects. Fine. Okay. Oh yeah, okay, fine, okay. So I might be asking a few of you to speak in the end, maybe 2 or 3 people. So please do this activity with some involvement, please. Okay. So I think you have your object. So if you already know what you want to talk about, if you already know that I have these points, I want to say these things about my object, go ahead, you can start writing. You can start writing about your object, you can start describing an object, and you can do, if you already have an idea, then go ahead. I'll give you a full permission to just write down. It's not a problem. And I'll let you can use that also in your final speech. So please, you can go ahead, keep writing down, because now I'll give you a few hints or a few questions that will be useful for you to analyze your speech properly, to write down a proper speech, and it'll be helpful if you could listen to me as well as you write down. So this will be about, I'll give you about 2 minutes for the entire thing. So I'll start with the questions. So yeah, what is this object? What is How do you describe this object? I'm just giving you questions so that you can just write down as I tell you. Just try to answer that question in your speech. That's all I'm trying to do. So, what is this object? How would you physically describe it? What does it look like? What does it remind you of when you look at it? What does the object mean to you? Does this object have any certain meaning to you? For example, I could say that this pen represents that the amount of effort I've put into studying over the past year, or anything. Just what does the object mean to you? Does the object connect with anyone close to you? Like when you see the object, does it remind you of someone? Maybe a person bought you that object when you needed it very much. Maybe somebody gifted the object to you, and you remember that person every time you see the object. What does this object mean to you? And how does it connect with someone you know? Does this object represent anything to you? When you see this object, do you think of something else? When you see this object, when you see this thing, does it remind you, oh, I had this other object with me when I had an activity with this object? For example, I could be reminded of my basketball, and at the same time, when I think of my first basketball, I remember those shoes I tore the first day I played basketball. So think about something that relates to this object. Does this object make you feel safe in any way? I have a hat which makes me feel safe when I am in a completely new place. It's also of my favorite basketball team. I remember wearing it everywhere I went when I went to a tour. There were a lot of new people, a lot of such a different environment, and that cap would make me feel safe for some reason. It can be sometimes you could even talk about the thread you wear on your hand, or any friendship band, or any bracelet. It might make you feel safe in any situation. Let's say you're talking about a small idol or something that helps you or motivates you to study. The day before the exam, you are studying so much, and let's say you see this object and you get some amount of chill when you see the object. Does this object make you feel safe? Did something happen between you and the object that you can connect with? Did something really interesting happen between you and the object that you could instantly relate to when you look at it? This would be really important, this point, because you can you obviously think of something that happened before when you think of the object itself. What made you choose the object in the first place? It should be some incident that happened before. It should be something that happened between you and your friend, and the object just ended up there. Why did you pick up this object? What are all the things? One second. Yeah, what are all the things you can do with this object? I remember once one person asked me, "What can you do with a pen?" It was a different pen before. It was a ball pen. So this kid, he answered that he could make a gun with this pen. That's the first thing he said. He told me that he could make a gun. He could make a place to keep his rubber bands. He told me that he obviously writing, and he told me that he could make a pen stand with a lot of pens. What else do you think you can do with the object of yours? Can your object save other lives? Can your object be helpful to others also in some kind of way? Okay, so I will give you about 1 more minute. You can look at the questions on the screen or think of your own, and I'll give you 1 more minute to um, structure the speech in a proper order. And for those of you who joined a bit late, what we're doing is object descriptions. So I just wanted everyone to pick any object that they find interesting around them. Anything. It can be a pen. It can be a pencil. It can be a light. It could even be a table or a phone. All that I want to do is I wanted everyone to pick up any object around them and prepare a 1 minute speech on the object. It can be anything. It can be you can physically describe it, you can talk about what it is. And I just want you to give a 1 minute speech on any object you find interesting. Okay, I'll give you 20 more seconds. If you already have a speech ready, you can raise your hand. If you have a speech ready, and you can raise your hand if you're done with the speech. You don't have to write down your speech. You can put down notes that you can use so that you can refer it when you're talking. I'm not going to ask you to not look at the paper and read. This is not English class. This is just simple object descriptions. Wait, none of you are done? Okay, I see a few hands up. You can raise your hand, please, if you're done, because okay, I see someone's hand up. You can use the chat box to raise your hand. That's more convenient for me. Nobody else? Okay, I see. Okay. I see two people. Anyone else? At least one more person, please. Just one more. Preferably another student. Anyone. It's not graded. It's not something that it's not for your exams or something. Just speak 1 minute on some object. Okay, I got one more name. Okay, fine. So I'll just leave the screen in case anyone else wants to also speak. So I'll unmute any one of you here. It's fine if that's okay. Miss Sunita Kumari. That is, yeah, okay. I'll unmute you for a second. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Hello, Revanth.
Yes, ma'am.
Good evening to you,
Yeah,
and
good
good
evening.
evening to one and all. I've chosen an object as the pen,
Okay,
and
ma'am.
it's very like my pen is a pink pen which I have now, and this pen means a lot to me because it's more related to me in my professional career, and right from my childhood I was very fond of writing. This interest was built up by my father because he insisted me to always write and improve my handwriting. So he used to bring and give me good pens. So it was very much attached to me. And whenever he got me a pen, I used to improve the handwriting each and every level. So it depends. It represents in a way my personality also. And I would like to even share one of my incidents because I used to collect all the pens which were given to me by my father, and I very well remember when I wrote my first 10th board examination. Also for the preparation, he brought me the hero pen which he used to call those days, and I kept it very much close to me, and when I wrote my exam with that, I felt very confident because it was gifted to me by my father. And then in course of the life, as I was growing up, I used to do all the collections of the pen, and it became my profession because I use red pens a lot. My children gift me often red pens because as I'm a teacher, so I get lots of red pens, and I use it. And I remember when I went for my first BA training, an instant which is very much close to related to me. I had a lot of collections of pens like microtic pen. I had gel pens. I had so many pens in my pouch, and this attracts children a lot. So when I went to the school for the training in that particular school, I left the pouch in one of the classes without knowing with the, and then I it got misplaced. One of the some of the child would have picked it up. So I requested the HM over in the school that see I have lots of pens with it. I don't want the pens, but I had a pass in that I want. That's why back my pouch because I have a bus pass in that. But I got it back, and I remember all my pens except the red pen was left over, and it was taken by maybe the children. So it's a very close to children. They like pens, so they would have taken it. So I remember this thing, and that's it. And still, whenever somebody wants to gift me something, I say it will be preferably a pen. Thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to speak.
Thank you, Mom. Thank you for your words. And yeah, so that was a good speech, I would say, because Ma'am brought in a lot of emotional attachments to the pen. Ma'am described the pen um, in with so much reference to what it means to her. So an object such as a pen, even a pen, can be described in such a long manner in the sense something that dates from such a long period of time, from her childhood days to how she uses it now. So you can see how you can describe a single thing you can hold in your hand in so many different ways. I remember the kid I told you about who called you can make a gun out of the pen. A pen is obviously a really good thing to talk about because you can bring about so many different views. So I would say that that's a really good speech, ma'am. Thank you. And next one is Miss Shweta Muno. 1 minute, please. Can't find. Oh yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good evening, Krishna. Good evening, Revanth Krishna, and good evening to all the who are attending this Zoom meeting. And we are going to learn something new from you, really. Actually, you said me to pick any object. I have pen whenever I goes everywhere because I had a collection that wherever I go, I learn a single sentence or a para that can change my life. So I never went here and there. I'm holding my pen and I showed you that I'm having a pen. And then you said about the objects. Means I remember still now, a pen is mightier than sword. Means a pen, it looks like my reflection. It is the reflection of me. It reminds me of the caliber of the quality that I have in me. And the first gift was given to me by my friends when I was writing the board exam, that you should only the top of the student. You should reach to your goal. In that case, actually, we're not going to have gel pens. We are going to have 2 rupees, 3 rupees pens that our half pens will be light. After finishing that half ink, we will get dark ink. So my friends used to give me 2 months of collection of the pens. Means half ink they used to use that light ink to notes and the dark ink to me to have my notes, and I should be the top and the paper should be full of bright and I should get full 100%. So that incident I can't even forget in my life, that my friends dedicated so me. They not gifted me new pens, but the ink is so light that it is not attracted at all. So they given me. Means I think a pen is the only thing, means a synonym for something that you can win the others' hearts, ideas. If you go for application, you have to use pen. If you want to write a letter, it nowadays means if you want to surprise your kids, you are writing something, pen interesting cards. You are writing some message. That message can bring a smile on your face and may save us from our worries. Means the pen, I think, is the boost up for everyone's life. If we hold the pen, we think we are in corporate level. We are in sub professional level that reaches our confidence and boosts us to some different level, and we can, yes, I have to reach some more height. Means now I am graduate, I have to become postgraduate, because this is the only pen that leads me. Yeah, knowledge is there.